Hello everyone, it's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. YK in the building. 60th birthday loading. Yay. YK, yeah, so YK is 60 going 40.
Going to officially enter old age.
No, you're not yet.
60 is old. 60 is the baby of old age. Baby of old age. 70 is middle age. From 80, official bam.
No.
At the
Departure lounge.
No, you haven't entered departure lounge.
80.
Express.
No, 80, you're in the waiting lounge. You're at 80.
No. Express.
Express, eh?
From 85, 90, you are in the departure lounge.
Okay. Okay, departure lounge then.
Waiting for the flight to be called.
To called, yes. So, okay, let's say 90. But 80, I would say... 80,
some people live to 95.
80 has even entered the airport.
Yes.
80 has entered the airport.
They've entered, yes.
Where are we going? Where's going? By 90, we're waiting lounge.
You see, all these 60, 70, they call it untimely. If you go before, it's untimely.
How you doing?
My banter is actually about...
Alaja.
Her husband took her for dinner yesterday. My dear Nima
was complaining.
I say, which kind of woman is this? Is it a bush woman or what?
We have been trying to help her case.
People are praying that their husband will take the...
How many people like their husband?
Do you know what I would kill for my husband to say, Morayo, let's meet me at the restaurant?
I read it. I said, really great, Lomo, you.
I dropped that there yesterday, sir.
Can you imagine?
Oh, I didn't even know they had that plan.
Oh, wow. Let's just now go to her. How was your dinner last night? What did you order? What exactly? Where was the place?
I've not been able to eat well since I think Ramadan just kind of made my body just shut down food. Oh. So forcing me and ordering food was not working for me. I just wanted to be with my children yesterday.
Oh my God.
Really, honestly, that's what I wanted yesterday.
Not to be with your children.
I just wanted to be with my children yesterday.
God is well. Anyway,
don't worry, I'll be in dinner mood maybe sometime. I just hope it doesn't clash. But right now, just wanted to be.
Anything else? How are you doing? Anything else happening?
I'm fine. We are owing Ramadan. Yes, we're in that mode of owing, and I'll be paying back after. But I'm really going to be talking more about when I'm not fasting subsequently on the show, because I want people, I hear that Muslims are not tolerant when they're fasting. You can actually have your lunch when I'm fasting. It's fine.
Around you, right?
Yes, I can just walk away if I cannot bear. But I can bear, because I was trained to bear. So I would watch you, because I know you'll be paying back.
It's haram, right? Isn't it?
It's not haram. If you are not fasting, you're exempted. And the exemptions are clear in the Quran. It's a long Quranic verse in Surah Al-Baqarah for those exempted. So I see Isba entering people's houses to go and pick up people for eating, and I'm wondering, how is it your business?
Wow.
Because God has made fasting. He said fasting is for him directly, and he rewards it, and you pay him back. It's a relationship between you and Allah, nobody else. So I'm not fasting. Let me just sip something when I'm paying this.
Okay, just take it.
We like the information anyway.
Yeah.
No, it's important because we don't let it go out as much as it should. I would usually sit here and respect those fasting by not drinking, but it doesn't mean that I cannot drink. So you don't enforce anything when I'm actually drinking. If I'm thirsty, I should be able to drink.
How are you doing, BC?
I'm all right.
I love the hair.
So my sister-in-law is around.
Okay.
And she cooks. Anytime she's around, I just make a list.
Invite me now
of all the things she's going to make for me before she goes, so that I don't enter the kitchen. So she decided to make ofowere.
Again.
Ofowere is an Igbo soup. No, from the east. Owere soup. It's only a few people that can afford to make that soup. She was the one that suggested it. It was like, have you made Owere soup since you came to this place? I said, no, the soup is for rich people. She laughed. She said, don't worry, I'll make it for you. And so yesterday, as I came back, I couldn't eat because I was full. But then today, as I'm on the show now, I'm already thinking of the pounded yam.
So are we going home together?
No, why? No, why are you coming to my house? Why?
And after I leave here.
It's closer to her.
I'm not going home immediately. Nobody should stop by. But I'm really happy.
Friends, because honestly, I don't think Yoruba people have that kind of a nice.
No, Yoruba people have.
They have their own.
The Igbo soups have a unique.
What else?
You know, I think all people of Nigeria
have wonderful meals.
Yes.
No, there's one region.
Because there's one from, I don't know if it's Benin.
Black soup?
No. Ikodo.
Ukodo is from my side, Delta.
See? I don't know these things.
Ukodo.
After the basic Yoruba food, I don't know any other one.
I have to learn how to cook
make
because I love
friends
it so much.
Well,
come and visit more often.
Any Mama Calabar pot, and you know.
I need to know. I know how to cook edikaiko. I mean, that's about it.
Visit more often, don't worry. We'll teach you. We'll teach you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm very excited.
Yoruba start Begiri now.
Begiri, yeah, Begiri. That's what we do in here. That one you start practice every day.
Do you do Begiri every day?
That's because you're in Yoruba land. If you were in Igbo land,
we would make all this every day.
Right.
True.
No, just talk about this dress that
So yesterday, we're talking about our outing yesterday.
Miriam
The movie we watched, The Wait.
Yeah.
So it's going to be our focus today because today's Thursday. And after watching that movie, I think the ladies and I realized that, listen, there's a lot that happens between when a woman gets married, the period she waits, and that child that comes, even before she gets married.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of activities that we don't talk about, we just gloss over it and talk about the testimony. So today we're going to focus on what women go through in all stages of their life, not just women, all people.
Everybody.
Waiting for career, waiting for your wife, waiting for your husband, waiting for children.
Waiting to blow.
Waiting to blow. There's that waiting period. And we'll talk about your challenges, what you go through, the emotions you have to undergo, and the family support you need at that time. So that'll be our focus today. But first, let's go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start with the nation. Killings, abduction in Oyo, Ondo, Kaduna, Enugu, and Delta. No cash for police. Inspector Baba, that's the IG. Baba laments. 9 suspects arrested over attack in Soludo. Debbie's dead, disquiet in Chad. Apple acquires Nigerian app for $1 billion. Senate okays government's plans to take $1.5 billion and 995 million euros loan. Man killed, mom's over property, and buries her inside compound. Which story are we taking here?
The IG,
Okay, go ahead.
do you want?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
The IG was, addressing the Speaker of the House of Reps and was talking about how the police are further strained with their financing, saying that this is one of the lowest funded agencies of government and that constantly they have their facilities being attacked. People that don't even have money before, how do they then repair and renovate these properties? They went and he was talking about how the House of Reps can look into amending their laws and increasing funding sources for them. Basically, that's what that was.
And then, another different story is the man who killed his mom. He had killed his mom. He had killed his mom and buried her in the compound. And in the church, they last saw her in November, but then they now sent somebody to go and visit to give her something, and he didn't let them come in. He said, "You don't need anything. They should go." Say, "But tell me, she's all right." Every time she would ask her, "How is your mom?" "She's all right. She's all right." But then alarm blew when he started selling his mom's property. And he sold one in K2 for 21 million.
So
when he was about to sell the second one, they now alerted his siblings. Come on.
What's happening?
Your brother is selling. That was how they arrested him. And then he confessed that she's buried in the compound.
Oh my God. What you do for money?
Investigations are ongoing. The police have said they will carry out an autopsy on the body to ascertain the cause of death.
Okay, so after a meeting yesterday at the Senate, they had actually approved for the finance minister to take another loan, $1.5 billion and 995 million euros. And they're saying that these individual loans, the $1.5 billion will be taken from the World Bank, while the 995 will be taken from, I think, a different source, from Brazil, I believe. And these are going strictly for infrastructure. So the 995 million euros is supposed to be going for, let me find out exactly what the project is going to be for, whilst the other one is all going to be for just pretty much infrastructural development of the country. But as you said, many experts have already said, warned us emphatically that this is not a good time to take loans because we are not generating as much revenue to pay back.
You cannot pay.
Manufacturing anything.
So, but the minister of finance is still insisting that we're still within that bracket to loan, and that we can actually still go ahead to get more loans. Moving on now to the Punch. Offer to protect those who need it, says UK. Talking to federal government. Ondo monarchs demand more policemen as 3 construction workers kidnapped. Soldiers tackle police as Kaduna Varsity students' abduction demand 800 million naira. Abia marks drug lord's house for demolition. NDLE arrests Baron with 100 kg cocaine. We can't end terrorism without weapons, says Chief of Army Staff. And Pantami was imam when ATBU Muslim community issued fatwa, killed my son in a mosque, says professor. Okay, which story are we taking here in Punch?
I could do the major story.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, so we know yesterday the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, had said that the plan the UK had to give asylum to members of IPOB and MASOB is actually disrespectful to Nigeria and is sabotage to our fight against terrorism. But now the United Kingdom has responded and saying that, let me quote, the asylum and human rights claim from Nigerian nationals were carefully considered on their individual merits in accordance with its international obligations. And they said also that in their websites, everything is published in their website because you can actually take them to court through the immigration courts. And so it's open to show that it's fair and right. And IPOB, on the other hand, had responded saying, thank you, UK. We know that you want to give us asylum, but that's really not what we are asking for. We want a referendum. We want to be able to go away from a country that has marginalized us for so long. And now that this your asylum has come, is more like a vindication. You've vindicated us that we are not a terrorist group. Thank you, but that's not what we need. We need to be set free from this country.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the other stories. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still reviewing the papers. Waike was going to talk about the Pantami story. Go ahead, please.
Oh, yes. It was this professor, I'll get his name. He said his son, there was a fatwa placed on his son because his son was giving out religious things. And at that time, Pantami was the head of the mosque, the imam of the mosque. And so he is alleging that Pantami knew about it. Yeah. And they strangled his son, and they threw his son over somewhere. It took the intervention of the governor of Bauchi and Kaduna to get him his son's body. They didn't even let him have access to his son's body, but that he has forgiven them. And they were asking him, "Are you sure that?" He says, "No, he doesn't want to go in there. He knows that Pantami was head of the mosque at that time, but that he has forgiven."
You see how we should be careful. So let me just quickly link all the stories. So the former assistant director of the DSS has said that the intelligence on his views, on his Taliban views, was given to the federal government and the National Assembly before he was confirmed as minister.
For real?
Yes, that the DSS had done their job and that they gave that report to the important
to the Senate,
to the Nigerian Senate and the federal government, and yet they went on to, and these questions did not show up as the confirmation at the National Assembly because we watched live. But because of that, after saying that the fake meeting that happened yesterday, the Minister for Information was then asked whether the federal government was comfortable still having him as a minister. He said he will not say whether they are comfortable, but he will say that the issue did not come up, that Pantami's issue wasn't discussed at the fake meeting yesterday. Also,
and he was the one that did the prayers.
Yeah, so because Pantami attended virtually at the FEC meeting yesterday, and he did the opening prayers, and that at the House of Reps now, one honorable Lumelu tried to raise the issue of Pantami's views and the news now asking that
they resign now.
He be removed, that he be removed immediately. And the speaker just sort of closed the issue again.
Wow.
So we are seeing what is happening around.
There was another guy, this one, I didn't read it in paper, I watched it on the news, where he was saying that the Senate, they didn't hear about it, they didn't know about it, that should be they are human. That what, should be all of us, we are 180 million, why didn't we self-investigate?
Was he serious?
I'm serious. It's not that they told me, I watched it live. That's why didn't we investigate? We are 180 million, so that we will come up with all this. And I'm wondering, whose job is it?
Exactly.
Is it our job to
Minority leader of the
understand
House of Reps too.
The people outside doesn't seem to understand the gravity of what if these allegations are true in any way. What it portends for us as a country.
My views on this issue was that at the time that this insurgency was on the rise in the north, there was a large, definite silence by the elites in the north. And we're hearing that, this kind of views could have informed, oh, it's not us, it's them, kind of views. And that's what worries me the most.
All right, let's not focus too much on it because it seems to be a very sensitive issue.
It is.
So let us just pack it a bit and let's continue. Sensitive because for the Senate not to even touch it, for FEC not to touch it. Everybody's not touching it for some reason. So let us watch first a few more days and see how let's see how it turns out before we start talking about it because it's a quite disturbing story, but let us just wait a bit. Moving on now to Vanguard. Bandits raid varsity, kidnap 23 students, attack army base. One killed as gunmen ambush Amotekun in Oyo. Station burnt, 2 policemen killed in fresh Enugu attacks. FG's town hall meeting recommends state police, says Lai Mohammed. Lagos shuts COVID-19 vaccination centers. And why IGP ordered withdrawal of senior police officers from EFCC and ICPC others. Which story are we taking in Vanguard?
I could take the, I wanted to take the kidnapped students, yes. So the Greenfield University, Kasarami in Chikun local government area, students were abducted from that school on Tuesday night, about 8:45 p.m. And so far they had reached that. Before, when they came in, they said, according to some of the students, they said they came in from different angles and they shot one of the matron. She died instantly. They took about 19 of them because after they had done the head count, they realized that 19 students were unaccounted for. Now they are reaching out to the school and they are demanding 800 million to be split among the parents to be able to pay up. And the eyewitness also said that the bandits that came in were about 17 to 18 years of age. If not that they had arms with them, they would have been able to dislodge them. They were rescued by the army. But somehow the police has taken the glory and the army is upset, saying that we are the ones that rescued a few of the students. We waded in and rescued them. We're even the ones that prepared food for some of them while we're waiting. So you cannot come and take glory. So there's been a back and forth between the police and the army. The bottom line is I think our security agencies need to learn how to work together. So it's not about you taking glory. We are working for the greater good.
Well, in a related story, quite a bit of other bandits went crazy in the last couple of days. So there was in Niger State, they invaded the military camp in Niger State, burned down the military vehicle, they moved away with one of the vehicles. One soldier, one civilian also missing, and scores of bandits killed. They say it's difficult to combat insecurity without required weapons, says Army Chief tells Senate, because they're complaining that they don't have enough ammunition
Yes, I
themselves.
read that, and I wondered, recently, they were saying, they released money for weapons.
They are questioning that.
And we are not, the head of army staff has been given ambassador position, appointment. And
there are still questions based on his
inability to buy when they gave him the money.
Yeah.
So
we heard there was a probe going on. I don't know how far.
But do you give that kind of person a position?
I find that.
The Lagos State government have shut down all their vaccination centers following the resolution by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency to stop vaccination since they've done half of the supply that they got. So they are going to be preparing and rolling out dates for the second phase.
Okay.
Did you see the picture of someone who taking his vaccine?
How was it?
Is it Dubai?
It was very funny. I was looking at it.
That thing is not.
Moving on to the Daily Sun. Bandits go wild. We talked about that. I mean, it was all over the country. Enugu, Oyo, Ondo, quite a bit of bandits going on rampage in the last couple of days. IPOB UK replies federal government explains asylum policy. There won't be elections in 2023 unless 1999 constitution is scrapped, says Afenifere. Masop urges Southeast South youth to join Ebubeagu. APC made zone national chairmanship seat to North, and fake mom on Pantami's alleged previous link to Al-Qaeda and Taliban. Which story are we taking in Daily Sun?
I could take the Masop.
Yes, go ahead.
So
please.
movements for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra, Masop, are warning the Southeast youths that they should forget about joining the Nigerian military. They should join Ebubeagu. That there is no hope and future for them in the Nigerian military. That they had asked, they had pleaded with the president to, appoint somebody to head one of the positions in the military from the Southeast, but so far there is no hope. He hasn't done that already. So if you are believing or you think that you want to have a future in any form of military, you should just quietly join Ebubeagu. That was just the message.
So thank you very much for that. The Afenifere Adebanjo, Afenifere leader, was speaking at the TV station yesterday and was saying very clearly that the problem Nigeria has is the 1999 constitution, and that it has been skewed against the South in totality, and it is a fraudulent and unacceptable constitution because it is not made for the people, it was made by the military, and that this assertion was repeated by the late Rotimi Williams. It is a sovereign national conference they're asking for, which was attempted in 2014, but Buhari has refused to implement it. So in a nutshell, he's saying that we can't have an election in 2023 with this same constitution, that this entire constitution was put together by the military and is skewed against totally the entire south of Nigeria. That we need a new constitution before we can move ahead to have elections in 2023. Okay, which other story we're taking in this? Let's move on now to Daily Trust. 45 killed, dozens missing in 6 Zamfara communities. We talked about earlier. First bank gives female entrepreneurs 58 billion naira loan in a year. Mixed reactions as IGP calls 25 senior EFCC detectives. Header shot dead in Ondo. NNPC increases daily petrol supply to tackle queues. Okay, which story are we taking?
NNPC.
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So the NNPC, even though they, initially did not agree on the queues happening across the country, they said in this report that they've increased their truck loading from 550 trucks to 1,661 trucks daily now that are loading across the country. I can testify to that because of the madness happening on our end of town, the way they shut down the roads all the time. But that is to mitigate the issues of queues and help.
Unfortunately, that's what we can take on Front Page Review. Let's talk about the first bank lady. Who has asked you?
Yeah, so they've given out 58 billion loans to its 1,000 female entrepreneurs. And they are also empowered about 24,500 people on the, what's this, your business, your side hustle? That you do agent banking. Agent banking. Wow. Nima is one of the people that do agent. They didn't do what?
You.
Agent banking.
No, loan. You didn't go.
No, I didn't go. I don't need a loan.
All right, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, as I said earlier, today we're going to be discussing that period called the wait. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Fertility issues cannot be overemphasized today. Most women, especially who are waiting to have their children, had to go through challenges from various family members, friends, and society as a whole. On the show today, we'll be discussing knowing how to wait. Now, not just going to focus on fertility, we're also going to talk about waiting for different landmark events in your lives. Getting a job, getting married, that's getting a divorce. There's so many important aspects of a person's life where there's that period of wait. And so many emotions tied to that period that we don't discuss. We often gloss over them. But today on the show, we have with us an actress, an award-winning actor, a friend of the house now.
Yes, she is.
Our dear sister, Nse. Welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Hello.
So we kind of hung out yesterday, and we went to watch this movie. We'll talk about the movie a bit later. It's a movie produced by Yewande Zakka, the chairman of Eventful. And that movie screening brought out a lot of emotions. And was from that screening we thought, you know what, this is a topic we need to talk about for women and even men generally. And so I would like us to start from different angles of waiting. So a few people shared their stories yesterday, which was quite profound, on those things that happen when a woman is uncertain. When am I going to have a child? When am I going to get married? When am I going to do this? When am I going to do that? Or when am I going to get a divorce? You're going through a treacherous marriage and you feel like, you know, you need to get out of this. That period of wait. And I'd like each of us to share your thoughts on the experiences and see what can we do to support each other during that period of waiting. Yes, Nima, would you like to start?
Okay, so let me talk about the waiting for a job for me. So I remember I left a job to finally carry my first child's pregnancy through, and I didn't have a job at the time. But it was okay waiting because I had neighbors' kids that were having difficulty in school. You know the way I am communal in my community, and everybody there just looks up to that person. So I just gathered the children and started teaching them. And it helped me buy time. It helped me go back to basic education, things I had skipped in primary school, secondary school, because I had one, it was 13, and it was still in primary 4 at the time. And the boy I found out later was a bit dyslexic. So the mom would never know what that meant. Because every time I was forcing him to read, he just kept looking at the screen. We went back to Queen Premier. We went back far back, and I saw he still had difficulty with 2-letter words and all of that. It opened my eyes a lot, so it prepared me for my kids. But for that period of waiting for a child, for me, the diagnosis was always the shocker. I remember the first time I knew I had a problem, I'd never been pregnant, and we were watching TV in the evening, and I was lactating. My clothes were soaked from fluid, and I was thinking, and my husband was with me, only 2 of us there. We did not share this with any family members for fear that what would they be reacting to? And we're just looking. And I found out at that time, at 26, that I had never ovulated. Wow. That it was called womb shedding or something, the fats and all of that. So going to the hospital and getting this kind of news for you, it was a lot of weight.
You know what you're saying reminds me of what was said yesterday. Somebody said something that, are we waiting in gratitude? When you are waiting, are you waiting in gratitude or you're waiting in desperation?
Or in despair.
Or in despair. And that's what I want us to talk about. Are we waiting in gratitude of this moment, this period, or we are in despair, we are desperate, we are angry, we are frustrated? And so I want to take this up.
Yeah, as human beings, it's really tough to wait in gratitude. So it requires a lot of training. It requires a lot of appreciation for the fact that you're alive to even wait. Because we forget that life itself is a gift. So we forget that waking up in the morning is a gift. We forget that the rain is a gift. We forget the sun is a gift. We forget so many things. So we get desperate. We want things to happen in our own time, immediately. So experience in life has taught me that you can wait and smile through it all. And you're not smiling because you want people to think you're happy. You have to find, I always say, find your happy. So you would find things that you went to education, it helps you. Do you see what I mean? You can do gardening, you can do anything.
Well, society throws so much pressure at you as a woman.
That is what the problem is. So the conversation is to change the way we view these things. For instance, you have women and men and family members who are, of course, men and women, and they constantly put pressure on you and ask you, so when? Everything is about the when. Not how are you? They don't ever find, nobody wants to know how you're doing. They want to know when it's happening. And they say to you, it's because I care. No, love, you don't care that much. You don't.
I personally think it's a process. And it's a process that we all would find ourselves in. So it's like the scripture says, make your walk, take up your cross and follow me. So it's a cross that everybody will have to take up individually, depending on our personalities and our makeup. It's a journey that we'll have to go through ourselves, not about what other people say. Like when you say, how do you wait? Somebody may not be matured enough to understand that it's okay to wait in gratitude. They're still going through that process of despair, and it may take them a while to get into gratitude. So I think the basic thing is to educate ourselves to be very supportive and to take out the stereotypes of timelines where we place timelines on people. So you're just married for a few months and then you come visit and I'm looking at your womb to see if there's a bump already.
You might as well get in there.
If there's a bump already. So the education should be more, because everybody will definitely have to go through their process. Don't rush them out of it. Give them that time. Their unique process. So give them that time, but apply support so that they will know that I have a shoulder to lean on when I need to lean on somebody. So the focus of the conversation should be more about how do we, as the bystanders of the people waiting, give support.
All right, let me get your initial thoughts on this before we go on a quick break.
You know, at 60, I think
gorgeous.
it is difficult to ask someone to wait in gratitude. That person needs counseling. That person needs, like you say, support, because there are so many people on her,
The noise.
including maybe her husband even, you know, who is, why haven't you given birth? Or I'm going to go out and have a baby, you know, or they will. So I find it, because I know people who have been married at least 10 years and they don't have kids, and I can see the
pain,
the despair in this particular person. I actually see, even in the way she dresses, she used to be such a high, you know, beautiful
lively,
dresser.
happy.
Now she's just frumpy, and it's sad. You know, it's sad, and it's society. If you are Oyinbo now, Oyinbo people they will just
gotten a
support
cat or
themselves.
something.
I got a
So
dog.
do we put pressure on ourselves?
You met him.
Is it our dreams that we don't pressure ourselves? Maybe you just want to have your own child.
We pressure ourselves as well. That's why I say that's why I'm finding it difficult to. I don't think I've ever seen somebody waiting gratitude.
Let me go on a quick break.
You did.
I did, and I took it up. And yes, you're right about counseling. You need to talk to people. But one thing I know is extremely important is if you have a partner. If you have a partner that's supportive.
That's
and
the
this
most
is for
important.
those that are married. If you, or even if you're dating, if you have a supportive partner, the onus lies on that person to remind you that that's not the reason why
That's
you're
not the reason why
you're
you're married.
and that's not the reason why you're married.
Let me go on a quick break, because when we come back, I want us to now focus on the issue of fertility, because yesterday my ears were popping. I was hearing stories, unique stories from people, where mother-in-law will tell you, so how long have we married you again? The mother-in-law will tell her daughter-in-law,
marry you for again?
how long did we marry? Or
your mother.
You know,
My mom.
so these are things that I have never in my life thought about. I've never even knew people could ask that kind of question. But it's reality.
Because you pop out
So
ears.
we're going to focus now on women who are waiting, that they're at that period.
Yes.
How do we support them? Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on this issue of the wait, and we're talking about the kind of support people in this group expect of society. Society comprises of friends, family, the media, companies, associates, strangers. And that's what we want to talk about, because I know Nse has a peculiar story where you, the media went for you during the time you announced your hysterectomy 5 years after you had gone through the procedure. But they made it look as if something just happened. And I'd like you to share that story because of how it made you feel and what the media did that really even invoked that anger that you, no, you didn't lash at anybody, but where we saw the anger in
let's even talk
the
about
response.
how she then, talked about it. The stories that led to her having to reveal the situation.
Okay, so let me go back. So my partner is not, he doesn't do what I do. He's very conservative and doesn't care much for red carpets, just like I don't. But he particularly doesn't want to be seen. He says, it's your work. Go do your stuff. So I literally begged him to accompany me for premiere at Leicester Square. It was 50 at the time. And so we went together. A photo was taken, and someone said, so they step out after seeking for the fruit of the womb. There's that one. Then there's the other one where they said, oh, that marriage is over because Nse is barren, in quotes, in those words. And
they use the word barren.
Oh, yeah, it's been used every time. And that is fine. It's fine to use it. It makes you comfortable, fine. But does it make the other person comfortable? We have to think about people who go through these things.
Do unto people what you want them to do unto you. I live by that doctrine. If I'm doing something to someone, I quickly reverse and think,
how would I feel?
How would I feel?
It's done to me.
Yeah, except you're a psychopath, and that's valid. If you are, I can understand it. But if you know that you are just a human being, I think you should be more empathetic towards these things.
Because I saw and say how people from mother-in-laws come and start touching your tummy.
Oh no, that is so rude.
Yeah, so you see, we want to help people here today. We can lament all we want, but the objective of this conversation is to let people know what they do to us that we don't realize they're doing it.
Yes.
These are the questions that.
Can I just quickly say something?
Please.
Sorry. So recently, and this happens every time, someone's going to come into your DM, that's social media, and say something. Someone can just pass a comment. Just a photo of you being happy. We can take a photo here and laugh. Someone will single you out. That would be me. Are you accomplished?
Imagine that.
Have you, they just say things that are so hurtful. But I'm thankful because I knew how to wait in gratitude after my despair and how to say it is also okay for what I've accepted. And it's funny that for some film that I did, my character is similar to me.
Yeah, yeah. We saw that. We'll talk about the movie in a minute because I wanted to bring in Yewande a bit later.
Okay.
But I would like to come to you, BC, on the issue of how do we support friends, especially when you as a person have children and your friend doesn't have children and you don't know how to go about even having that conversation. You don't know what to do.
Shouldn't.
You shouldn't have the conversation. You think you shouldn't, right?
No, I think you shouldn't have the conversation. I think you shouldn't constantly throw because even girls do it. They throw Mrs. And now you first marry.
I think it's about, like YK just rightly said, putting yourself in another person's shoes.
That's it.
And there's something I used to live by that I forget, but I think I need to keep reminding myself all the time that before you say something, if it's not going to build that person up, don't say it. And I realized that there are people who are around you who may be going through things that they don't even say.
Yes.
You need to be sensitive not to throw things that you think they don't have in their faces. It's just about being sensitive. Yes. And I think sometimes we need to, it's a kind of switch that because of the way the country is and everybody's hustling and everybody's trying to prove to one or the other that we are better, we switch it off. We don't remember to turn it on and let it be a part of our lives. So we constantly just live for ourselves and we're selfish, not paying attention to what other people are going through around us. So it's about paying attention and noticing.
And saying, I'm living my life. And that too is valid.
Yes.
The point I'm trying to make also is the fact that there are some people, someone like me, because if I were in that shoe, I would rather you don't talk about it. Let me be in my space, and I'm comfortable.
Except I come to you. What if I come to you?
I don't want to talk about it.
you to.
No, but they don't get
I don't want to talk
these
about
are the
it.
questions. Okay, I'm from Edo, and the Edo, there's a belief that when your period comes regularly, you must have so much heat. So they
Internal heat.
Internal.
It's so weird. I know.
My mom too asked me, so it's not my mother-in-law's fault that she later asked me. Because my mom would be like, Nima, you know, your period used to be so heavy. I used to have very heavy flow, 15 days heavy flow. I'm still on my period.
But it's a sign.
So I didn't know. She didn't know. Well, none of us went to the hospital until I got married. So, and they would be like, they feel heat inside your belly. And as my mother-in-law would come and say, your temperature is always high. I be the hot. They get.
What's that supposed to mean? Like you're pregnant?
It means that you can't hold the baby.
That's what it's so
the heat
internally.
inside you is cooking up the babies to come to
it's
flow
so
to
weird.
period. So when I finally understood it, any time is the time of the month. Somebody wants, I say no heat.
Don't touch me.
Please don't touch me. You know,
The revelation.
there are several ways they ask that you know it just doesn't make it comfortable. I've seen a relative now who's waiting. She's waiting for 4 years now. And I'm just happy at the kind of in-laws that she has. You know, they just constantly just check up on, are you fine? Let me send you money for shopping. You know, just to kind of distract her. And I know that they would love to have a child through her. But, you know, all they know how to do is support. And when we felt the pressure would be, they said, no, we'll just move. And they moved out of...
Maybe
Let me ask you this question. Because some men, even though they say, oh, I love and support you, will still go out and have children from another woman.
That is societal pressure. It's not, because, and then it also means that the man himself doesn't actually love you. He doesn't. He doesn't. He can't love you.
Wow.
He doesn't love you to go out. He will. That's he's stepping out. He can't prove it. That doesn't mean anything. He needs to
I was
stand
sharing
with
with the
you.
ladies recently that 2 guys had that issue. One stepped out. The other one said, I love my wife. And now both of them are 60. The one who stepped out has 2 children.
Yes.
The one who says, I love my wife, is 6 years old. And he's now thinking, okay, maybe I should have stepped out when my friend did. Because there were 2 friends. And he's over 60 now. And they had that conversation like, okay, I don't have children yet. And I wish I had stepped out. So I think what I would like us to have the conversation is, regardless of where you find yourself, own it.
Yes.
I want to give you a high five, but I'll stay here.
The final decision of that choice you make is what is most important.
Yes.
Me now I can say it, but I didn't believe it. When my husband would be like, enjoy the marriage now, must we have children? I just kept looking at him that he's a Muslim. Maybe tomorrow now I'll just have like 2, 3, 4 at the end of the... so I will have to live with that. So even that method for 2 months, I remember I would not talk in the house, I would not cook well, I would not say anything, just merely thinking, so then they'll just marry 2, 3. And he'll have his own children.
No, but they are men.
You know, but it took a while to trust that you have and that's the most important thing. In fact, sometimes leaning on that person's faith might see your journey, make your journey shorter. And I mean shorter in the sense that you might finally get through your wait, or make your waiting. You won't even feel the period of waiting that is long enough.
Make your waiting blissful.
Blissful. So it's important that, you know, the people go and see that movie.
I think it's very important that we let people move from that place of despair to gratitude. And one of the ways that I think they can move is to have the mindset that whatever happens, it's for a reason. So what I always tell myself is I can't remember the agreement I had with God before coming here. I really do not understand what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm meant to do here. This trial or tribulation that I am facing could be one of those tests I'm supposed to pass into something great. Now, when you have that mindset, you always know that it will pass. Even if the child doesn't come at the end of the day, be happy with your life.
What if you have
for
the
where
child,
you
is an
Exactly. So you don't know what God has saved you from.
Let me go on a break. I'm going to bring in Yewande Zakka because, sure.
Wait now. Calm down.
Because, you see, I know that Akelabi's wife, I can't remember her name, she did a book. And I really wanted the producers to also call her on to this story, but our phone lines are switched off. We're trying to reach her all morning. Because it'd be great to hear, because she actually went through that wait. Yes. And so it'd be great to hear her story. But let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring in our guest. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have a lawyer, banker, entrepreneur, movie producer. She's recently produced a movie titled The Wait. She's the chairman, founder of Eventsful Limited, a leading events planning and consulting company here in Lagos. Welcome with us, Yewande Zakka.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'd like to invite our callers at this time because we'd like to hear your thoughts on this. You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag Your View TVC so we can read your tweet. All right, when Nse was here, we might even bring her later, we talked about pressure, the kind of pressure society brings, and the kind of support we can give women who are waiting. Yes. And you producers, we'll talk about the movie a bit later. But as a mother who also waited for a period for your daughter to come, I'd like you to talk to us about that period of wait, what you went through, one, and secondly, what mothers can do to support their daughters-in-law who are waiting.
Great. Thank you. Now, my own story was unusual because, as I said to you yesterday, I actually had a child immediately after my marriage. 9 months later, I had my son. So I never expected I was going to be a candidate for waiting. But for some reason, in fact, it was called unexplained secondary infertility because there was absolutely no reason why myself and my husband could no longer have children. And there was no medical reason, and we just couldn't have children. So for me, it was an unusual kind of wait because, yes, I already had a child. But then you see, when you have a desire for something, it's something you want. And it just almost takes over your life if you're not careful. And I think the pressure for me was more a pressure I put on myself. Because I was like, I don't want to have just one child. I want to have more than one child. And there is nothing more frustrating than waiting for a child because it is the one thing you can't do anything about physically. There's just nothing. Even if you do IVF, everybody knows that there's no technology that attaches even a fertilized embryo to the womb. So it is something that is absolutely, totally out of your hands. And for somebody like me, I grew up being, very confident. I mean, I know what I want. I know how to get what I want. So it was a real reality. It was a shock to my system that this is something I want and I can't have just by doing what I want. So it was a time of deep frustration. It was a time actually of, and because every month you're reminded that it doesn't happen. So for as many months, as many years as you wait, you can imagine every month there's that terrible disappointment. And then your hopes are raised again and it's going to be the month. So it's a very, very difficult time. You saw yesterday when we were talking to the women.
But some people would say that, why would you be putting pressure on yourself when you had one?
Exactly.
Others are looking for, they don't even have any.
Exactly.
So how do you explain your your personal pressure when you already are blessed with one?
Exactly. The thing is, as I said, if you have a desire, you have a desire. Some people have 5 children and they're all girls, and you have a desire
to have a boy.
So if you have a desire, you have a desire. So there's just nothing about it. Yes, of course, I thank God because people say, how come you were the one that wrote a book about this? How come it wasn't those women in your books who waited 24 years?
Share some of those stories with us. I'd like to open our phone line for those who have been through this phase to please call in to share their story with us so we can hear. But I'd like you to also share one of the few stories in your book.
I'd like her to address this tweet by Fubara Brown. It says, I remember a friend who used to refer to his wife as a brother because she wasn't pregnant. He used to call his wife his brother. She wasn't pregnant.
Yeah, so those are the things we see. You call your wife a man. The man that
your wife. how?
Should you just share one or two stories from your book for us so that we can... The book is called The Room, right?
It's called God's Waiting Room.
God's Waiting
Room, and there are 4 in the series. I'll share one of an aunt that waited for 24 years And it was a terrible time for her. She said she saw all her children, and I know I can say her name because her name is in the book, Auntie Tinu Okufulure. You know, she's one of my aunties. And it was incredible for her. She saw all her younger ones get married, have children. But, and, you know, she said in the book that, you know, she had everything. She had a husband who loved her. She had money. She could, you know, she had houses. She had everything that you said, you know, anybody could want. But she didn't have a child. And that for her was like, if I don't have that child, all this is meaningless. All this doesn't matter. And that is the way, you know, people feel. I suppose for me, because as you say, I did have one child, I was able to get on with my life, get on with my career, do things even while the desire was there.
Waiting.
But for people who are waiting, who don't have a child at all, and who have to wait for so many years, it can be so devastating.
Let me take this call from Oladele. Oladele, are you there? Oh, we lost that call.
There's this tweet that says, Adeyinka from Adeyinka says, the support we need is for people to treat us normal and stop pitying us by uttering words like, we are praying for you. God will do it. So how do you want to be treated? On one hand, people say, exactly, people say, don't ask the questions, ignore us. On the other hand, people say, show empathy. So where
it is difficult because, you know, that same person can in 1 month feel, I want people to support me, I want you around me. Can that same month feel, just don't talk to me about it? So you see, we just have to be sensitive. We just have to be sensitive to your friends. You have to be sensitive to know. I mean, some people say, look, that typical Yoruba prayer, your soon will come. Some people hear it and they burst into tears. Some people receive it with grace and say, yes, my own soon will come. So I think it's just a matter of sensitivity. And what a lot of people said the books helped them to do was that when you have somebody that you don't really want to be in their face to say, why are you waiting or how do you feel? You just hand them the book and you don't say anything. And they can read the book and they can be encouraged and all that.
Let me take this call from Esosa. Esosa, are you there? I think our phone lines are having issues today.
So
yes?
Because you had a child.
Yes.
And then you got desperate for another one. That's why I wanted to take... Because I had this conversation after my first child. She was just 2. Just 2, and I had gone to the doctors to see whether I wasn't ovulating again because of the kind of diagnosis. And my husband was like, what is your problem?
Yes.
You don't come up for the category. I still, please stop dragging me with you. Do you understand?
It's desire.
But I want, no, I think, besides desire, I just felt that prayer, Allah were that they kept saying. And then some people go, there was this, my neighbor saying, Auntie, she tore it your head, you know? And I just started worrying again.
Yes.
I worried to the point I had the baby. I was pregnant and we didn't know. No blood test could show, but a scan showed after 52 weeks.
What?
And I lost that baby because I would not listen again. You know, I just could not gather my emotions together. And when I lost that baby, I went home. And that my first child did something. She had sweets from a neighbor. I said, don't eat it. And she said, I'm going to eat it. She's always been like that. I said, you will not eat it. And I beat that girl as if she was the cause of... So I want you to address women who mentally are in that space where they blame people to look within. Because there's a character in the book who did not even know that she was her own problem.
Yes.
To look within and see if it is your desire that is your problem, deal with that desire. Maybe counting that your blessings that you have not been doing, you should start to do it. So that you don't destroy the gifts that God has given you.
Let me take Nkechi's call. Nkechi, are you there? Nkechi? Our phone lines, the devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. Why can somebody said something yesterday, and I'd like you to. Somebody said yesterday that regardless of who, that when you die, somebody will bury you.
Yes.
That saying that, oh, my children will bury me.
Yes.
You should like that regardless of when you die or who dies, somebody will bury you. Because we need to use this show to change the narrative. When we make it look as if once you don't have a child, that's it. And we need people to know we can actually honor and value ourselves with or without children. And it's something that we need to talk about. And I really wish people can call in this morning and share their views on this. But going to what Nima said, I want you to rephrase your question.
How do you wait? How do you deal with the pressure you put within? How do you get to that point of gratitude where...
You see, the first thing I think, for the way our society is, a lot of people internalize their pain. And I think that was actually one of the reasons, because as I said to you, I only planned to write one book, after. But because the pressure came, people would come and see me, people would talk to me, people would see me on the streets. So I realized this is huge. People need this process. They need this affirmation that you're not the only one. So I think that's the first thing people need to do. You need to find your safe space. Everybody has, who may be a safe space? It may be your husband, it may be your mother, it may be a friend, it may be somebody who doesn't even know you that well, so that you're comfortable to sort of just say all the things. So you need to express yourself, because if you internalize that pain, that it was what makes you go and get a child and beat her up for something that was not her fault. That is what makes you attack as a boss your colleagues, or take it out and be the crazy boss in the office, because you're not expressing that pain. So I think for me, and that was why it was so important to show in the movie the importance of a support group.
Let me take Francesca. Francesca, hopefully our lines will come through. Francesca, are you there?
Yes.
You're live. Go ahead, please. You're live.
Good morning to her.
Morning.
I think the time of waiting should be a time of gratitude to God. And I am talking from experience. I have a 14-year-old girl, and that means I should have been waiting for like 12, 10 years. But I tell you, in fact, there are even times now that I don't remember my period. Once it comes, it comes. If it does not come, it does not come. And to the extent that I have seen people that came to me to tell me that, because I live in a rural area, that somebody said, I have done something with my womb, that is why I don't care, because I have just a child. And which is not true. These are people that don't even know my background, that don't even know anything about me. My mother-in-law's friend has called me a time. I went to check my mother-in-law in the hospital, and her friend was like, I will say this in Yoruba. If it's a daughter's, if it's our own child or our son's wife that are not giving back to another one, she would have sent her back, And in my own mind, I was like, and she was like, so in my mind, I was just like, all thanks be to God. And you call it what is God that ordained her. And all she said at the end of the day, I just said, thank you, ma. Until today. And I tell people, and I use myself as an example to people that are still waiting. I have one of glory to God. And I do tell people, I don't know much about but the picture I know, I don't think he has children. Look at what he's doing. We have people like that.
Right.
And I think waiting of gratitude is what we inculcate somehow. Because
all right. Thank you very much. Right,
I was going to say, sometimes I have one child. I mean, I remember when my daughter was 1 or 2, and some in-law walked past me and said, so when is the next one coming? And I felt like saying, never. I didn't say it to her because you didn't even ask me if I'm happy in the marriage. Why would I want to have another one in an unhappy marriage? So people can make decisions. I know of a woman who she's married. She's made the decision never to have children because there is a mental illness in her family. So she doesn't want to bring up children. But she's married and the husband supports her. And that's why I say Oyibo people. They are the ones that support themselves. It's we African people that will be doing, be looking at your belly. Why? If I see someone who has been married 4 or 5 years and she's not pregnant, I will not even ask. I will not even ask. I think it is insensitive to ask.
I sent a message to my girlfriend. I mean, my girlfriend who I waited for some time yesterday. After yesterday's intervention, I'd say, I inside me, I'm like, I wasn't there. I won't say I wasn't there for her. I was calling her once in a while. When I remember her in prayer. But I never really had that conversation. I didn't ask her because I just wanted to respect her space. I was having children. It was easy for me. I just didn't think it was right for me to be asking her, how far now? But I sent her a message yesterday. I said, listen, I really apologize that during that period, I didn't start the conversation. I just felt I should respect your space. I do apologize if you feel that I wasn't a friend to you. Because it goes back to what BC said. How do you be a friend to somebody who has her niche? Do you just keep quiet? I was just having her in prayers. So, I mean, she now replied to me and said, I was not that you understand. She knew I was praying for her. That's not a big deal. But the question, therefore, how do you support other women going through this situation? And I'll come to your movie now. Because the movie The Wait had different scenarios of women. Some had the support of their spouse. Some, the women itself, were in pain because she had 5 miscarriages, and it was a legitimate pain. And others were looking for options of surrogacy and all that. what made you write this movie? What made you produce this movie? And what would you like this movie to achieve to help women out there?
Fantastic. As I said to you, the books were written because of this 9-year delay, and I promised God, you know, if I ever have a second child, I will do this to help other women. And as I said, book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4. So after I had done the 4 books and compiled them into like a package, I knew I needed to do something more, because it was clear that this is a story that, I mean, my daughter is 22 years old now, and we're still talking about this. So this is a story that is for life. And I felt the urge to just do more. And I felt a movie would impact a lot more people, because also, you know, we don't have a great reading culture, but I think people are, you know, visual images appeal much to them. So I also wanted this movie to showcase, as when it's inspired by the books, it's not based on anybody's particular story, but what was important to show the things that I have found have been critical to ensuring the eventual happiness of couples. First, unity between the husband and the wife. Wherever, I mean, when you say a man tells his wife, a brother, how can it ever happen in that kind of marriage? There's no love, there's no unity. So I needed to show the men that you must support your wives. You must support your wives against the rest of the world. And those are the kind of men we portray in that movie. Men who are understanding and who support. Then the other thing is the importance of a counseling, of having, you know, it's called the waiting room in the movie, but the support system of other women. And it does not even have to be a faith-based support system, just a support system of people who are of like mind, who are in like pain, who can hold each other up at the time. And then, of course, we showed the typical mother-in-laws. Not all mother-in-laws are bad, but we didn't want everybody to be a goody-goody in the movie. So, you know, so we showed the so that, you know, and what I found, when people, after we had the premiere, people came and said, I never realized that was what I was doing. A lot of people do things in ignorance. A lot of people do things because they are under pressure. That, your son, after 10 years, the wife has looked, you better do this, you better do that. Instead of leaving them in peace, instead of just praying for them.
Well, I hate when they tell them to go out and have kids outside.
That's a
I hate
thing.
that.
Yes.
Why?
Because they just feel...
Maybe when you marry, the priest says for better for worse. Exactly. Doesn't he say it?
Exactly.
So whether you can conceive or you cannot,
and
it's
you see,
not,
another really
it's not a
important
big deal.
thing is to show people your value is more than bringing forth children. You see, having children is just a facet of your life. We are so multifaceted. So there's so many other things, so many other blessings that God has given you, so many other things
Let me ask you this. So in the movie, Dr. Nara, played by Nse, mentioned something at the end, which is do not waste the weight.
Absolutely.
So for the benefit of those that are watching, who are waiting on something, how do you not waste that weight?
I'll let you answer that question after this break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We really like to get in our callers to call in as soon as possible so that you can join the conversation. But before the break, BC asked the question, how don't we waste the weight?
Great. Fantastic question. Don't waste the weight. You see, you don't know how long the wait is going to be. That's one thing. It could be a year, it could be 10 years. So you must live your best life. That is, if anybody says, what advice do I have for waiting women? Live your best life. Because as I said earlier, children are fantastic. We all want them, but they do not make us, they do not validate us as human beings. There's so much more of who we are. There's so much more of the blessing we can be in so many areas. So don't let us, because of that one desire that we haven't had, lock down all the other things where we can be heroes, where we can be stars, where we can be a blessing. You know, whether it's in your work, your career, within your family. So just find, I mean, as Nse always says, find your happy. You must find something within you that gives you joy.
To learn how to be parents. You know, we don't come with a code.
Yeah, so it's just so important. So for me, that's how you don't waste your weight. If you are going to get that extra master's degree, some people say, I can't travel because just in case, I can't get that transfer, I can't do this.
That is all good. But what are those unintentional cues family members give you? You go for weddings. The end on next year. Can you come? Or family members say, or they just greet you and say, your sister is even getting married next week, or she has her second child, or how far with you now? You know, those little things that people say. Can we begin to talk to each other?
Yes.
How do we manage?
You don't find the right man to marry you. They say, she's a witch.
Biological clock is ticking.
Nobody wants to marry her.
It's something that honestly, by this time, we're in 2021, we really should have got out of this. These were cultural things of the past, when a woman is not validated until she's married. You know, one of the young girls spoke yesterday about how if you're not married, it's as if you're a half person.
Yes.
We have to get over that, and we have to be more understanding. To say that prayer in your heart for that person. Do you understand? Don't be that person that will, every time they see you, they now want to run away because they know that for sure
So
you're going to ask what
him.
is happening. She already has that in her mind, you
Yes.
know. So we just need to be much more sensitive as a people.
Let me take Olayinka. Olayinka, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're live. Go
Good
ahead,
morning.
please. Morning.
Yeah, this topic you ladies are discussing, actually this is my first time on the program.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. My wife is also another follower of the program. Unfortunately, she's not around right now to discuss this issue. Now, this topic you are discussing is very, very germane. I can say I'm in that shoe. I've been married for over 6 years now. And then we have been waiting to have our children. We've done all, you know, everything we needed to do medically. And we were told that we both my wife and myself. And, you know, I thank God for the family that I have. You know, Morayo, you could, when it comes to you, I mean, people take from body, when is it happening? You know, I'm the very last one of my family. When is it happening? And you know where you have brothers and sisters and your mom, everybody bombarding you with a sort of question. And to cut it off, my wife is Igbo. My wife is not a Yoruba lady. So you can imagine the kind of situation I found myself and my wife found herself. But, you know, we have been moving on and believing in God. I always tell my wife, look, let's just wait in gratitude. That's why they're just trying to kind of, you know, do my best to make sure I'm able to call on the program. Look, we are right, we are okay medically, but we don't know why God says it's not yet time.
Olayinka, can you hear me?
Please, yes.
So what do you do when your family now brings some form of pressure on your wife? Do they bring, and if they do bring, what do you do to, you know, to protect your wife, to support her?
They do bring, and each time I tell them, they know the kind of person I am. They call me pastor. Let me just put it that way. They call me pastor. I say, look, when it's God's time, God is going to give us our children. God will give us our children. That is what we believe. That's what I keep telling them. They are asking us to go and adopt. I say, look, I don't need to adopt. When God says yes, He will give us our own children at the due time. He makes everything beautiful.
Thank you very much, Olayinka, for us.
May I add to what you're saying? So a lot of Nigerians are not open to options. So everybody wants to have a wife who, you know, gives birth like the Hebrew woman. It comes when it's time for CS. They see CS as abnormal. You have to push. You must come through that, you know, through the JJ. And then when it comes to having other options, surrogacy, adoption, no, that child cannot, you can never feel because you did not carry, you did not push. How do we start sensitizing Nigerians?
Okay.
That it's okay.
Yes.
Because God has given us the brain.
Yes.
And God has given us everything that we need
Medical
pertaining to
sciences,
life and godliness. How do we use other options to get what we want?
You see, that was one thing that was very, very important for me to ensure that the weight the movie showed. Now, the thing is that, of course, everybody would love to just get pregnant naturally and have their children naturally, but it's not going to happen. You know, we are adopted children of God, so adoption is an option. We have to first of all understand that. You know, many people, when they go for adoption, they will still pretend they'll put a tummy in their, a pillow in their tummy to show them. We need to understand that children can come to us. God can bring children to us through a myriad of ways. So adoption is one that I think is so important, and I believe that, I thank God that a lot of people have to read in my books and seen all those testimonies. Many people are embracing the adoption option. Now, the ones, sorry, can I just say, the ones that people are a bit more wary about is surrogacy, is IVF. In fact, I had one woman accost me on the road one day and said, you have too many testimonies of people who did IVF in your book. You are not allowing women to stretch their faith. I said, have you ever waited for a child? Of course she hadn't. I said, what do you mean they're not stretching their faith? It is even by faith that you can still have children through medical options. Do you understand? So we need to let people release themselves from that bondage of thinking, if I went through a medical or if I had a section, it was not God, or if I'm adopting, or if it is surrogacy. Some people have even said surrogacy is adultery because it is somebody else carrying your... You know, we need to expand our minds.
You know, going back to what Olayinka said, which I mean, so Olayinka as a family is saying, I'll wait for my own.
Yes.
But what we're also saying that it's good to wait for Olayinka to wait. But at the same time, if your family does then decide for adoption, it's also okay, and society must accept it. So there must be that point where a family says, okay, we'll wait on God, but in the meantime, because one of the things you said yesterday, which was really profound, was that those who waited for maybe 20 plus years, the only thing they say that they wish they adopted years ago.
Yes,
that's the kids that they had, that they wish they had actually adopted years ago.
Because the joy, you will not believe it. Ask anybody who's adopted, that joy is the same.
I have a family
and
friend
you know
who
the
did.
interesting thing? The children will look like them.
Yes.
In one funny way. It's always
So
people
I know.
children will look like them.
I know this couple, they adopted twins, and the one boy, one girl. The boy looks like the father, and the girl looks like the mother.
How does God do that?
You know, just to show you that his ways are not our ways. So he can
Let me take Olayinka from another Olayinka from Port Harcourt. Good morning, are you there?
Olayinkas are raining.
The Olayinkas are raining.
Good morning, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry, it's
Good
Vivian.
morning.
Hi, Vivian. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I'm very happy. This is my first time. Yes. I have to deliberately stay at home to watch your program. I'm in a hurry. I want to rush back to my business.
It's okay, go ahead.
Yes, we're talking about waiting.
Yes.
I'm waited, and it's good. Thank you. It's important to let women understand. You know, when you have no waiting, when you are talking about waiting, people will not understand. A lot of things happen. For instance, where in my own case, my mother-in-law called me up and said, my husband is the first one. You know, the other children have to. That why don't I agree? So that we get a girl and she will conceive. I will carry the children. And I was just 32 years old. So it was very painful. She will arrange women once I come in. They touch my tummy. They will pray prayers that they must. They are even praying. Look at the mirror. They are mocking you. So the only thing I knew is that what really helped me was that even the things they were saying was what fired me up. I decided to go into medical research. I decided to really check. I took out the pressure. I was working. And I wasn't telling anybody about my findings. And at a point, I started seeing their threat as a challenge, as a positive challenge. Because sometimes they don't know, because you are busy, particularly if you are a breadwinner, you don't remember. You just wait, and any day that passes, they will come back. So that's the aspect. The abuse was there, but I didn't look at it. I moved forward.
Thank you very much.
When I moved forward,
thank you very much, Vivian, for sharing your story with us. You see, another angle we've not talked about is where in the family, the man is the issue. And he refused to get tested.
Yeah.
So the woman has done everything to make sure that, listen, am I okay? We've waited 10 years, and I've endured the family pressure. But you, my spouse, be open enough to get tested and let us even know what the problem is. And the man is insisting because the ego will not allow him to get tested. That's another angle we're not talking about.
It's a very serious one.
There's a serious issue where the pressure is not just on the woman, but the man also feels that internal pressure.
There's an African idea that, you know, you're less of a man if you even express the need to want to go for testing. So let's first of all give a clap to those men who go with their wives and be willing to do a sperm count.
Yeah.
Now, say, I catch you. And there's also that part of, you know, men knowing that they have a problem and then pretending to their wives and then testing. They are very little, or what would I call it, somewhere else.
Yes.
You will now end up, I have a friend, 9 years, and she kept treating every form of sexually transmitted infection, and she was going for fertility treatments alone. So he led to a divorce, and we didn't blame her. We just sort of held her hand and begged, walk out. Because you knew you had a problem, but your wife was asking you to support her through a problem she thought she had, and you would not give that support. And you were going around testing yourself with every woman. Can you give me child? Can you give me child? Till you brought home every form of sexually transmitted infection to this poor woman. So sometimes, men, we need to ease that conversation around men having those issues as well.
Yeah.
Testing for them.
Yes.
And, you know, talking about it. It doesn't mean the end of the world.
Right. So going back to your movie and the importance of talking about this issue, I know the movie's coming up very soon.
Yes, April 30th.
Oh, congratulations. It's your first movie now.
Yes, it is my first movie.
You're an event planner.
Event planner. I keep inventing myself.
So you resigned as MD?
Yes.
You're now chairman?
Yes.
So now the company is on autopilot?
Autopilot with the new managing director.
We'd like to see Nigerian companies, do that. We hardly see that. The chairman is the MD is there.
We're growing. When we get there.
It was important to me because, as I've said, as human beings, we're created to do so many things. So I've never let myself be put in a box. That because, I'm a lawyer. I did a master's in Cambridge. So everybody would have thought I would just stay in the law. But, there's just so much about life. I just feel I need to just continue to express myself in all the ramifications that the Lord has given me. And it's important for us to also realize that if you've built something, let other people take over and see what they will do. And I am honestly confident that they will do much better. And they better do because they're my pension plan. Because, they're young, they have new ideas. Because I'm sure I was even frustrating them a bit because I was still a bit so strict, conservative, old school. So now they can fly. So I think it's really important.
Let me take this call from UK. Good morning from the UK. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
You're live. Go ahead, please. Morning.
Yeah. I'm called a caller.
Welcome.
Lots of them.
Yeah, I would like to share my experience.
Yes, go ahead.
I got married. My husband is based in the UK, so I was in Nigeria. I was schooling then in Uniben. So when I visited my husband just after 3 months of marriage, I stayed for 2 months. And when I came back to Nigeria, I went to see my mother-in-law. And the first thing she said to me, "Are you pregnant?" So I was laughing. I was like, I just stayed for 2 months with my husband. And to be honest, I don't really know if I was pregnant. So later I talked to my husband. I was like, guess what? Mom asked me if I was pregnant. I said, but please don't tell her because I don't know if she was anxious. So my husband, because he now said, you don't need to be worried about being pregnant or not. We are just married for 5 months and it's just 2 months old. You don't need to get worried. Because to me, son called my mother-in-law. I just be asking my wife for just 2 months to visit if she's pregnant. I never knew my mother-in-law angry about that. Like to her, I speak to you. You went to tell my son. And really, really upset. She owed that against me quite a long time. And a couple of months later, I was in the UK.
Can't hear her too.
I was permanently pregnant.
Okay, I'm really trying to hear you. It's so hard.
I think
my mother-in-law. I didn't hear. It's a bit muffled.
So her husband
hear
stood up in her defense against his mother, and it wasn't the relationship between the two of them because she blamed her for turning her son against her.
That's typical.
That's like a bit in our movie.
So thank you, for sharing your story. I really, sorry we couldn't hear that clearly. Yes.
Yemo just says, I guess I'm lucky with my husband and his family. They support and are still supporting me during this trying period. It's been 5 years of waiting. It's not easy. But I appreciate life for giving me in-laws, especially my mother-in-law. She's been such a blessing to me.
Fantastic.
Zinat says we should all learn to be free and explore. There are a lot of options to any situation. For child issues, early treatment, adoption, etc. Find something meaningful to do during waiting. Free yourself from people who add to your problems. Mommy, I believe the process of waiting serves as a reminder that our journey is not the same as others. So when the society dishes out timelines, we have to ensure we wait with intention and with gratitude to learn why there was the wait in the first place.
The timelines are for themselves. They dish it out for themselves.
Can I say something just off what she said? That was a fantastic contribution.
Yes.
Because I think with every wait, there is purpose.
Yes.
So I think if we begin to look at it, that there is a purpose in this wait, and you look for that purpose, it makes it easier to bear. I mean, it's not as if I had been told then that you would have to wait 9 years and all that, I would have been excited about it. But then I see the impact the books and this movie, which I never in my wildest dreams would have thought I would have done. If I did not go through that process of waiting, it wouldn't have happened. So I believe all of us should try and look, what can be the purpose for this wait?
Right.
What can I learn? What experience can I learn from?
There's also the value you attach to what you wait for. So, Patience, someone says, I waited for 9 years until I had my son. Anytime I look at him, he's more than 7 children to me. My focus and all I see is how to bring him up in the way of the Lord, not trying to get the best out of him, And I'm looking forward to seeing him bring forth many children I never had.
You see, that's why I like to bring out the issue of Nse. Nse is happy.
Exactly.
Joyful. She's working. She's successful. So she's not defined by, oh, I have a child, or I have this procedure, and this. So I think that purpose is, we find a purpose in this. Yes, this has happened to me, and it's an indication to others that, listen, you can still find joy, happiness.
There's also the mindset that if you're happy,
if you wait, and then you now go and get pregnant, and then you die during the pregnancy, so you waited to die.
But that happens.
So think about, you see,
that's why you must experience joy.
Everything.
Yes. There's this mindset that some people are just Instagram happy. I think we need to remove that. Some people are really genuinely happy. But every time I have met Nse one-on-one, you will know when you meet somebody one-on-one who is happy, you will know. But I wanted to ask you, so the movie portrayed a supportive husband, especially the one that went to the support group.
Yes, on behalf of his wife.
I would have loved to see more men in that space, because the truth is a lot of men do not know how to support, and they need to be, it has to be modeled to them how they can support. And also, I think people should get into the space, so everybody has ideas on what businesses to do, how to give back to the society. Can we start having people who create these support groups that you can come in?
That is actually exactly what I'm hoping this movie will do. That is actually why we also made sure that it was a multicultural and multi-faith counseling society, so that, you know, just gather some women. Just gather some women. Even while during the time of my waiting, I did this a lot. I'd just have a few friends. In fact, I had when I was working in the bank at the time, a few of us that were waiting. During lunchtime, we'd go to the car park, we'd just hold hands, pray for 10 minutes, and one by one, you'll see everybody going on. I mean, we had that in the church I go to. We had a Fruitful Vine fellowship. So every Thursday, women in that space would gather. It's something we need to do. The support is just, I mean, you will hear stories, you will say, mine is not even this bad. You will hear stories that will be, oh, I can do better, you know, and it just makes everybody better.
There has to be a part 2, because I wanted to see.
We haven't even put the movie out, and we're doing a part 2.
No, there's a part 2, so start writing. I want to see the part of the beer palologists. So the guy and his friends, and the friends drinking as drunk as they are, still say to him, it might be your fault. Or do you want to go with her? You know, you need to support your wife. Because, and then there's this cultural thing around, Yoruba people will kill me, but it's now a Yoruba thing. That, you know, the way to deal with infertility is to make sure the girlfriend is pregnant before we go and do mommy more. So she has to be pregnant up to 6 months. It's not everywhere, to the point, you know, my children outside wedlock are now celebrated. You know, it used to be abnormal those days, but here, you know, thank God, is, you know, some people, you know, so is that a solution? I want you to address the cultural part, and I want you to you know, further on the...
It's based on family. It's not culture.
Auntie, a professor of medicine, told me that if you were my daughter-in-law, you won't have...
He told Nigeria, because he said it on the show. It was very clear. The professor, Papa, we were very, very clear. We know him very well. He said it on the show. So it wasn't a private conversation. But the point I'm trying to make is that...
What did you say?
I didn't call his name. It's Morada.
I'm just saying, he said it's on the show.
It's Morada.
That was
he was 5 years ago. It was you that called his name.
The requirement per person. So I mean, that's per family. But let's not generalize that. It's all this cultural. But I think we're going to be wrapping up very soon. Now I want to go back to you building this business, movie making, because all the successful women now are going into movie making. I'm going to be seeing all your friends like Ibuka Oshikala are going into movie making. Is that a new thing, or you just like there's a message you want to just put out into
That's just movies? It. Honestly, it's not anything. It's just about a message. And you know, it's amazing when Ibukun did God Calling, executive producer. I was already thinking about, and as you know, we're best of friends. I was already thinking about doing this. So I was like, you're doing this, but we're of like mind. If we feel there's a story that will impact lives and impact people, we do everything. We run with it and we make sure it's told. So Bolanle, Mo, Bemi Shashore, all of us that have stories to tell, it's important. And you know, we have been given a platform, and I think it would be irresponsible if we do not use those platforms.
Mariah, we need to hit the studio.
That really.
We have been given a platform.
Yes, you have been given a platform here, so we need to use our platform. You are. That is it.
We need to diversify as well. For some of us that are creative, so in that area.
I mean, to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be a one-off. I was just doing it and say, yes, I owe this. I need to do this, but everybody has told me you catch the bug.
So tell us when the movie's October 30th, right?
No, April 30th. Next week, Friday, all cinemas nationwide. The Wait. I just want to celebrate the actors. I mean, Nse was amazing.
Phenomenal.
You can Sequoia,
You can jump in,
Silver,
don't worry, don't say anything.
I mean, we've got the cream of the cream, and then my amazing directors.
You can hug us.
Can I tell you, my directors were male, 2 young males, Yemi Filmboy Morafa and Fuyi Gambo. Come and stand here. My producer, Tolu Lotana. No, I had an amazing team. It was a privilege to work with. And honestly, Nigerians, we are creative, we're talented. I love my country, I love my people. I mean, the more I do things, I mean, you know, I have these souks, the eventful souks. I work with entrepreneurs in food, in music, in fashion. We are an amazing people.
So you don't intend to run away?
Run away where? I'm just retired from
the You don't have another passport?
Where should they run go?
You don't have another passport?
Nigerian to the core.
Hey.
Okay, we have to
Thank you.
Thank you so
It's
much.
been awesome. Thank you so much, Lucy.
Okay, why can't I have a British passport?
I don't intend to go anywhere. This is my country. I can't live anywhere else.
Morayo, I want women to go out in groups to see this movie. Don't go with just one person. Take all your friends.
And take a tissue box, please.
Take a tissue box.
Men, buy this movie for your friends. We need men.
And we need the men. The men must watch it. So April 30
I won't let you
on
talk
the
because of social distancing, so that I don't talk. So I won't say that. We're all vaccinated anyway. We are. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies. It's been such a pleasure.
I hope you liked a few things that we had. It was quite an emotional screening yesterday. Yes, many of us cried because we're hearing women sharing real life stories. So go and watch the movie next week Friday. Take a tissue box with you. Go with your girlfriends. And at the end of the day, let's learn the lessons.
Exactly.
Support each other.
Support each other.
At this time, doing the weights, support each other the best you can.
And have faith in God.
Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, you can talk.
Oh, wow.